Hi there, my name's Kian, and last week I passed my Army Assessment Centre with a grade A. The reason I'm making this video is because when I was coming up to my assessment centre, I was scouring YouTube to try and find videos of other people's experiences, just so I could prepare myself as best as I could to make sure that I just went in and smashed it. But what I did find was that all of the videos seemingly related to kind of COVID and pre-COVID times. So the COVID ones, they were just a single day assessment, very, compacted into the one day. And then the pre-COVID ones, all of this stuff, I believe, has changed now. So, I struggled to find anything up to date, and you're watching YouTube for me. Just that's kind of how best the information goes in my head. Listening to someone else talk and stuff. So I thought there's got to be other people out there who are similar boat to me, and I hope this is useful to someone to try and help them feel more confident going to assessment centre. So what I'll start off by saying is I'm not a YouTuber. I've never spoke to a phone or camera or whatever, and I'm just trying to do this because I genuinely think this might be useful, because I would have loved someone to have an updated version for me before I went. In terms of the assessment itself, there's a couple of things I've noted down that you definitely need to remember. So what you get told by your recruiter, or what you see on the emails and stuff, is that you turn up in PE kit. Now, a lot of people just turned up in kind of like casual wear and stuff, but for me, I just took a single backpack, like classic one you'd take to school and that. But I turned up in my smart outfit, so that when I got there, I could put it in the wardrobe, and then I just have all my sports stuff inside my bag. So I didn't have to take as much, and I found that was quite useful. So if that's the same for you, great. But the big thing was that there were a few lads on my cohort that forgot to take a towel, and you have to have quite a few showers while you're there, because you're obviously doing exercise and whatnot. And a couple of the lads either ended up air drying themselves, or using old pants to dry themselves. So I mean, take a towel. You know what I mean? Like, just save yourself that trouble. It's really not hard to pack. So remember the towel. It's going to do you good stead. So in terms of the assessment centre, then it's 3 days, 2.5 days. For me, I got there on a Monday. Had to be there for 5 to get the bus from. I did mine in Lichfield. So what you do is I got the trains that the army can organise for you. So I got a train, got there about 4ish, and then you just wait there until you get picked up to be taken to the barracks. So I recommend using the trains, because I did think about driving, but you can't park on the barracks. You can't really park in terms of Lichfield itself. There's nowhere great to park your car. So I just thought, I'll go with the train, and you have that time just to kind of get in that zen mode. You know what I mean? Like, just calm, put some headphones in, sorted. Sweet. So in terms of arriving at Lichfield, for me, you can tell who's there as well for the army, because you come out and it's a really small car park, and there's just loads of young. For me, it was an all lads cohort, but so there's just loads of young lads, all kind of fit and stuff, and you could tell they're all kind of similar. And you could, everyone was going to the same place, and then there was like groups of people, but then a lot of people just on the periphery on themselves. And for me, one thing that I found quite beneficial was just getting that confidence. Just walk up to the people and just go, "Oh, are you also there for the army?" And just get chatting, asking like what people's job role preference was. Why do you want to go into that? What do you do on a daily basis? Just getting to know people, build that rapport, because you're going to spend the next few days with these lads. You might as well get a head start on it before you even get picked up. So I found that quite beneficial, because the people that were on the periphery and weren't getting engaged within that initial phase didn't really get involved with any of the kind of camaraderie down the line. So, get in there early, say hi, and you'll be sweet, really. So next, the guy comes to grab you towards the bus stops. You walk over the road, you line up. All I'll say is get your ID ready to hand, because he'll just come by, look for your name, and he needs to check your ID. So just have that out ready, and then you put your bags on the bus, and then you're off. Another thing to say is that all of the members of staff you talk to, if they're not in uniform, you have to address them as staff. And for me, because I've, if you've got some kind of army knowledge, you'll know that that's what happens. So straight from the off, I just was very polite, and when he came to take my ID, I said, "Hi staff, you all right? Hope you're having a good day." That kind of just being very polite, just to try and get you off on the good track, because the people that pick you up are going to be spending time with you, and you march from the minute that you get picked up until you leave. So just want to be getting off on that good start. On the bus down, it was a little quiet at first, so just again talk to people, ask them what do you want to go into, why do you want to go into it, and talk about what you think is going to happen in the assessment centre, what you're looking forward to. You're spending a few days with these lads, just try and make it enjoyable, else if you're not going to talk to anyone, you're going to end up having quite a bit of a boring time. So for the first evening, you'll arrive and you get off the bus and go to the lecture hall. You put your bags in the corner, take a seat. You'll be told what number you are. I think you get told what number you are before you get on the bus, so make a mental note of that, because if you forget it, you're undoubtedly going to get a telling off for that. You'll find your number. We've got bibs on all of the chairs in the lecture hall. You'll find your number, sit down, and then leave everything that's at your chair. A lot of people, me included, just start filling out some of the forms, and it's a big no-no. Just essentially don't do anything until you have been told what to do. Like for instance, when it says write your name, you're not told until you're told. It's only your surname, and then when you cross it out, they'll know, oh well, he's done that before he's been told. So just listen out, wait for all instructions, and just follow. I mean, something I fell upon and learned from that moment. You're then gonna get all your documents out and have those checked. So I think it started with your education certificates. So I think it's all GCSEs unless you're going into the med core, and then you need a science. So it's your maths and English. So if you have those in like a pack or an envelope, I have mine in an envelope in like one compartment of my bag, just so I'll be able to easily take it out. And I just had everything I needed in that one bit. So I had like my proof of address, passport, everything in, all that. So I just brought that in, and then you hand it over so they can tick you off to say if you need to do the extra exams for English and maths. Once you've done that, keep hold of your documents, because they're going to have to go in your brown envelope later down the line. So you better hold it on, because I worked out, I was up and down, putting it in and out of my bag, thinking that'd be the right thing to do, and then you just kept needing them. So just keep them on your person, and make life easier for you. One thing I'd say is that you need to be sit up straight, be engaged, because a few people, again, I think they thought it was a more casual event than it was going to be. You're being assessed for the army. Just think about yourself as if you are a soldier, and act like it, and just try and be engaged. So there's just quite a bit of admin you got to get through. I can't remember how long it was, maybe half an hour or so, maybe a bit longer. So just a bit of waiting. Another thing is you get given a bottle with your bib number on. What I would say is that treat that like your firstborn son, daughter, whatever. You need to keep that on you at all times unless you're told not to take it. So I think the only time you're not to take it is when you go to mess halls, when you go for food. But other than that, pretty much have it on you at all times, and have it topped up to the brim before you go anywhere. You'll get caught up on that, because like in the army, you always got to be prepared, so you never know when you're next going to get to be able to whack it under a tap, you know what I mean? So it's just getting those things into your head is what they're trying to do, I think. So yeah, once all the admin and stuff's done, you go over, you have tea, but you march off in like a proper formation. So again, just listen up and just do what you're told. It's quite simple. Just keep your ears pricked, and like a few people, they're just like I don't know, they weren't like switched on. Just make sure you're listening to what they're saying. Yeah, you go over to have your food. Food was actually alright. It was like mostly like curry type foods, so always have some kind of protein, carbs, and then some veg. I thought it was decent. Some people complained it wasn't big enough, but it was alright. So once you've had your dinner, you'll go back to the lecture hall and they'll give you an overview of the entire course, just talking you through essentially what's going to happen at what times over the next few days. And once that's done, you go over to your bedrooms, and we had 4 different bedrooms for about 40 of us, so about 10 to a room. I think it was a bit different depending on each room size. You'll be told which one you're in, and when you get in, you just got to make your beds to the army standard. So there will be a picture in the room somewhere, so just try and make your bed look exactly like what the picture shows. It's quite easy, but yeah, you will get inspected on your bed, so keep it neat and tidy. Put your things underneath the bed or in one of the wardrobes, and nothing to worry about. It's sweet. My room, there was about, I don't know, maybe 8 or 9 bunks. I managed to get a bunk to myself, so no one above me or anything, so that was pretty good. In the corner, so I could get a good night's kit. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. You know what you're signing up for. It's not really luxury, but somewhere to sleep, innit? Once you finish at your bedroom, you'll go over to the rec room, just have a bit of time there. So again, get involved. There's things you can do. There's a shuffleboard game thing that took us a very long time to work out what the actual rules were, but past the time it was all right. Some people took it a bit too seriously and loved the thing and never moved from it. There wasn't a pool table because it was out of action at that time, and then there was like a I don't know what you call it, like table football foos table thing. Yeah, telly, but no one ever really used it, so we just kind of use it to talk to people. For me, I was trying to always try and upskill your knowledge base. So if people know more than you about something in the army, use that to your advantage. So that was great. Yeah. Most lads you'll find are really friendly, and it was just quite decent, so you could just have an easy conversation. It was sweet. And then once you finish there, I think we finished about 9 o'clock in the rec room, and then there was you have to have lights out by 10, so for about an hour to get everyone showered. In the first night, because we were on the Monday, it was just our cohort. We had 2 different washrooms, so it was quite easy to get everyone done in time. So yeah, I mean, just is what it is. Get a shower, and then once the lights are out, you're pretty much done for the day anyway, because it's been thinking about it, a bit of stress on the day, then there's a lot of information to absorb. When you get there, you're ready to go to bed, so it's pretty alright, to be fair. Alright, so the first proper full day, they say wake up at 6, someone will come round to get you, one of the staff members. Our room, quite a few of the lads were a bit too excited, I think. Their alarm went off at 5:30, and someone decided to turn the lights on straight away. And now, me as a dad of a young one, I was quite looking forward to that extra half an hour of sleep, I won't lie, but you just got to go along with it. I'm sure it'll be similar for other groups as well. People are excited. Yeah, it's not as bad as it seems waking up early, but yeah. So if you want to have a shower, there is time and stuff. You go to your breakfast at 6:20. Yeah, breakfast was alright. You get different cereals. You got porridge, full fried stuff. I'm not a breakfast person. In my normal life, I do intermittent fasting, so I don't have breakfast. But I just ended up having porridge just to have something in you, because you do need that extra energy because it's a long day. So make sure you fill up and stuff, but try not to go too overboard because you will have your medical and your fitness, and so keep it fairly simple. In terms of next, you've got you'll go back to the lecture hall, and someone will come and grab you to explain what's going to happen for the medical. On this occasion, I'd already had my medical previously at Lichfield, so it was a bit different for me. So I essentially just had the morning doing nothing. But I can talk to you about my experience with the medical previously. It was all the same, just that there was much more waiting on this day, it seemed like, for some people, because they didn't finish until, I don't know, 6 maybe, or some people had like one thing to do in the next day. So it's a lot of waiting, so just be prepared for that. So some of the stuff is you've got to do BMI. You just go on a scale and they'll measure your height just to make sure you're within what they deem is healthy. They'll check your eyes, so just if you've ever had an optician's appointment, just reading letters off a board in a pyramid thing. They'll have a colour test scheme thing that like the book with the numbers, and they've all got different colours on just to make sure that you're not colourblind, because that can trip people up and it prevents you from doing certain jobs, but it's not the end of the world if you do fail of it. I've heard of people that have just then gone on to do different jobs, which, so it's one of those. You've got a hearing test. You go into one of those booths, put your headphones on, you've got to listen for beeps, and they'll go from one ear to the other. And when I did mine, I didn't realise that it kind of, in your head, if you've ever done like is it like 6D audio or something, it like feels like the audio is going up and over. I thought it would just go from right to left, but it did do that. So, just watch out and just keep going for it. It'll get louder if you don't press it in time, and it works out some kind of score or whatever, but yeah, it's alright, to be fair. Another one is ECG. They'll put loads of sticky pads on you to check your heart rhythms and whatnot. So if you had a hairy chest like I did at the time, maybe shave that off, else they're going to have to wax it. And I came back with just a huge patch of missing hair, so I ended up just shaving it anyway. So a bit of one thing. And then the last thing is the actual, you'll see a doctor, and they just look through everything you've sent over from your online doctor stuff. They'll look through your previous medical history. Like mine went into when I was like a baby, and he was asking like, I take it you won't have any memory of this. I was like, obviously not, no. So you just go through your medical history, and it's quite relaxed. You'll do a few little exercises for them to make sure that your joints move in the right way and that you're fit enough for everything else that the army has to offer. So yeah, I mean, all of the tests are fine. It just that what I'm told for that day was it was a long day. When I did it, it was probably about 2 or 3 hours because there wasn't many of us. But on the day itself, because there's like 40 odd of you, it will be a long day of waiting. And then once you've passed, you get to change from your red bib and then put a green bib on so that everyone knows that you've passed your medical. But yeah, pretty fine. There were some people that I'm told got deferred. Like some people have braces, they have to wait until whatever happens with that, or if they need to like check something with their regular GP, you might be deferred at that point. And there was a couple that failed and stuff. So if you have a full bill of health, you've got nothing to worry about. So sweet as like. Next was the psychometric test. You might do this in and around your medical, so it might be that you'll have this between your appointments, and that's just the test that you do when you first fill out your application, and it's all like to do with numbers or patterns, shapes. So you're able to get test ones and stuff online. So if you have a good few practices of them, there's nothing to worry about. Just the better score you get, the more options you have for job roles. I scored 76. I don't know what like the minimum was for job roles and stuff, but that 76 meant that I had a pick of any of the options, and kind of how I went about it was just that even if I wasn't sure on an answer, I would just get it done quick and just press next, because it's not done on based on just whether you got the answer right or not. It's if you got it quickly as well. So just try and get them done quick, and that, I don't know, it seemed to get me a good score. So maybe worth trying. So next I had this in the afternoon after lunch, which lunch is like you get like a baguette, crisps, an apple and some chocolate. So yeah, it's fine and whatnot. Next I had my medicine ball throw. I was rubbish at this because I'd never done that before. So like the technique I was told from my unit was that you got to throw it upwards, and it would have been nice to have a practice throw, but you throw it and that's your score. So I got like some 4 something, I don't know, but I think it's 3.1 meters you got to get for minimum standards. So I got it. I'm just a bit rubbish really compared to other people. Your mid thigh pull. This was one I was a bit nervous for because I didn't know, I'd never done this type of thing, and it's quite a weird mechanism. It's like a bar attached that doesn't move, and it just registers like what force you're using as to how much you can pick up. So yeah, another one that I didn't really do very well, but I got way above what the minimum standard was. So you know, like it's just one of them. Just give it your best shot. And yeah, it was easier than I thought it was going to be. One of the things I was nervous for, but it was absolutely fine. So just do exactly the motion that the trainer will tell you to do. And yeah, I don't think anyone failed on that. So it was all right. And then came the bleep test. So yeah, everyone together does a warm up to level 2, and then you'll get split into groups. We had 3 groups. I was in the second group, so while the first group was doing it, I was just trying to keep warm. It was quite a cold day, and I was just doing all the stretches that I normally do before doing any exercise, just to like keep the body regulator ready to rock and roll. And yeah, everyone else kind of stood still, so I would recommend just keeping your body ready, because it is a bit awkward when you've just done a bit of a warm up and then you stop and do nothing. So for me, that's what I would advise. And when it came to the bleep test, this was the big thing for a lot of people, but this was the thing that actually ended up changing my entire army experience, because I am going into the reserves if everything goes well, and I'd been going to my local unit, which is a Mercian unit, so infantry, and I was quite sweet with that, and it turned out that I hit the maximum on the bleep test, so it's 11.3, which is the paratroop level. And then afterwards, everyone was like, "Well, you know what? You should consider it and stuff." And it had never been something that I considered before, but I thought, well, there's no harm in at least thinking about it. And like, I became a dad just over a year ago, and put on a heck of a lot of weight when that first came around and stuff. And then trying to get into the army, I've been doing lots and lots of work, with eating and living healthy and stuff, and trying to get myself fit for the army. And so when I was practicing for the bleep test, I'd always practiced it to 9, because the infantry minimum is 8.6. So I thought if I can bosh out 9. I'm just going to work on my fitness and just keep going and try and get as fit as I can. So I did that a month and a half, 2 months before my assessment centre, and then I never did it again, which maybe is a bad idea, but I just wanted to work on my fitness, and somehow within that time I managed to really increase my fitness and get to the maximum. I didn't use any lives, so you'll get 3 lives for it if you don't get to the line in time. And they'll shout your number and say 1 life or 2 life, whatever, and then they'll pull you out if you've used all 3. And I got to 11.3, no lives, and it felt pretty good, to be fair. So maybe if I had practiced before, I'd have felt better and more confident about it. But yeah, somehow I ended up getting the maximum, and as I say, completely changed what I'm going to be doing, because as a result of that and realising I'm fitter than I thought I was, It's opened up the idea for Paris for me, and it's now what I'm going to be pursuing. So exciting stuff, and there's a couple of guys who were also interested in Paris. So just talking with those guys, there's a guy, one of the soldiers that throughout the day they'll come and talk to you while you're waiting, and it's your opportunity to ask any questions you want to do. And one of the guys there was a para. So just use that time just to get more information, and so that was sweet for me. And because I got the para score on the Bleep, that's me done for the fitness. I didn't have to do anything else. Whereas, so it was me and one other lad that got it in our cohort, but the rest had to do all the fitness tests again on the second day. So there is another incentive, even if you don't want to go paras, you don't have to do it twice, which is quite good. So as I say, you get to talk to soldiers, they'll come in and do whatnot, and then later on in the evening you'll get briefed on your interview for the next day. So one of the staff members will talk you through the stuff that they're going to be asking you likely, so talking through your phase 1 and phase 2 training, what your C drills, what your PAL is, all the acronyms, making sure that you've took the time to research the army, what you'll be doing, just so they know you're not going in blind and it's not just been on a whim and stuff. So it's just you listen to what they say. It is useful because they're going to be asking you. So write down some notes, and it'll help. Then we had some tea. Again, fine food, and then they gave you time to revise for the interview. So we were split into two. One half of the people got to go into the computer room first, log on to the computers, and you could research your job role, research your training, just make sure you knew everything that you needed to know, ready for the interview, and you switch over between the rec room and whatnot. And I just spent it with the other guys that were also wanting para, just because I'd never considered it up until that point. So then I was doing my best to get my head down and work out, what would I be in for if I do decide to go down this, so I could talk about it in my interview. Just utilise that time. It's your own time. If you feel confident, then fine, but I'd recommend using it to the full ability. And then afterwards, same again, you have a shower and then bed, because there was another cohort, because it was a Tuesday, because they stagger the cohorts. There was only one washrooms, so it is a bit of fight to the death to get into the showers, but fine. And then lights out at 10, and believe me, you want to go to bed well before then, because it's a heck of a long day. That's day one all sorted. Okay, so day 2 or day 3, however you want to see it. Again, you wake up early. Staff came in about 10 to 6 for us. Everyone goes to have a shower, and then out for breakfast at 20 past 6 again. And then following the breakfast, you do if you haven't done the parascore the day before, you'll repeat all of the fitness stuff. So you'll do the medicine ball throw, you'll do the mid-thigh pull, and then you'll do the bleep test again. And it is, if you don't get it, it's a good opportunity that you get to have another go and try and get better than the score you got before. Because for like me, where it worked out in the way I think they want it to, is that if you get higher than what you planned going in, it gives you more options as to what you can and can't do. So for me, because then getting that score, it meant that I got to consider a job that I'd never considered myself to be fit enough for. That worked in my favour. So there was other people that did much better on the second day as well. So use that opportunity. It's not the nicest thing to do it 2 days in a row, but use it, do your best. Don't go crazy on the breakfast so you can actually run. It's sweet. For me, I was just in the rec room, and I just used that time to go through my notes about the interview. So that was cool. Following that, you'll have the team tasks. So there's various different things you've got to do. They'll take you over to this wooded area, kit you up and stuff with helmets and overalls and that. and you're in a group, probably around 8 people or something per group. And they'll give you instructions on what's in front of you. So you have 3 different tasks, and they're all pretty much similar, where you've got to like get over podiums using planks, and they call the ground minefield, and you've got to go over the planks and podiums, and not just the ground. You've got to take med packs and stuff and get everyone over, and it's just one of those tasks. So there's like different rules that you'll be told about. So listen out for them, because before you start they test you on it, and ask each person like a different rule, just to make sure you're listening. And then you go into it, you get 10 minutes per task. For my group, we were rubbish in the first one. We didn't complete it. We got about 3/4 of the way, and it was not great. The second time task, my group fell out with each other, and everyone was shouting, and it just went absolutely ridiculous, and that was rubbish. But thankfully the third one we actually smashed out of the park, and probably as a result of the first and second. But I was told in my interview I did quite well in the team tasks. So my feedback was around saying that I put ideas forward, gave people time to listen. I listened back. I was always loud and concise with what I was saying. Always positive. That was another thing they were quite keen on. That if things weren't going well, like in the second task, I was trying to like rile the boys up and say, look, come on guys, we can do this. Just be positive. So that was my feedback, and they said that was good. So yeah, my advice would be to try and be similar, and even if it does go awry for your team, as long as you're pulling your weight and making sure you're trying to be positive, trying to get the task done, trying to be fast about it, nothing really to worry about. It was actually quite fun, even in those rubbish ones, because I don't know, it's quite an enjoyable task, and as long as you put yourself into it and put ideas forward, even if they're rubbish ideas. I had some rubbish ideas during it, but if you're putting them forward and actually contributing, that's what they're asking for, to make sure you can work as a team and contribute and stuff. And there was one guy on our cohort who did fail the entire thing based on the team task, and that's because he was what they call a grey man, just kind of stood back and let everyone else do everything and didn't contribute. So for me, get involved, be positive, and just enjoy it. It's all right. Right, and then what happened after? Oh yeah, I'm just looking through my notes. Just saying, like, you get planning time and stuff. So do make a plan and make sure everyone knows the plan. When you're passing stuff back and forward, make sure like to talk to the person saying, have you got it? And then say their number. So have you got it 11 or whatever? And just make sure that communication is always on. And it kind of weird stuff that you're saying, like, have you got it number 11? But do that kind of thing, and you'll get through it easy. And whatever you plan you do decide, just be quick about it, because any time that you spend in dilly-dally, and you could be getting through, and it is 10 minutes it seems a long time, but it's really not. So that's it. And then you have a shower afterwards, and then you get dressed into interview stuff. So some people didn't bring smart gear and were in trackies, but I mean, for me, dress smart. It's a job interview at the end of the day, and you want to make a good impression. But that's my opinion. And then you've got your interviews, so you'll go into the lecture hall and wait for you to be called out. There's about 5 interviewers, and they just go through you periodically. And unfortunately for me, I was one of the last to get it, so it was a long time. I was probably waiting like 2.5, maybe 3 hours, just sat there, and just sat upright, ready, engaged, and all that. Just in case they walked in, and you don't want to make that first impression and stuff. So they say it's an interview, but it kind of is an interview. It kind of is just a casual discussion. Treat it as an interview. You want to impress them, and so you'll go through how you think you've done, give you scores and stuff. So say what you got on your fitness. They'll give you feedback for your team tasks. how you've been throughout the entire process. Just going through all that kind of stuff. They'll ask you questions on your acronyms, so your C drills, to make sure you know what they are, and like which is most important to you. So just make sure you understand what each of them means, and try and work out how that could incorporate into your life. During one bit, they ask you like what happens for your training. So just say all the buzzwords like what navigation, skills at arms and stuff, and it's all the stuff you go through in the briefing. And the staff do make it very obvious as to which bits to note down. So if you say those things, you get a tick next to it. It's all quite simple stuff. Just say the buzzwords, and they literally give you the answers, and they'll help you if you don't get it anyway. So it's great. And then once you've answered all of those little bits and pieces, you wait outside the room while they generate like a grade and put it through the computer and whatnot. You go back in, and they'll tell you how you've done. So they'll give you like if you've passed or failed, and then from there they kind of that's when it becomes really casual, and they go, so what do you want to do? And it's your opportunity to use it to get career advice. And for me, that's when I was discussing about the paras, and I found it quite positive. It felt a little daunting going in, but really it's a lot easier and a lot nicer than you think. So it was pretty sweet. And then gave me a certificate, and then you just wait for it was about 8 people for the minibus, and then you're off back to the train station, and you're off home, and it's great. So all in all, it was quite an enjoyable 2.5-3 days. And I think my main tips really would be that just make sure that you're there you're an army interview, and just act like you are there for that. There were a few people that were playing up and stuff, and the staff don't take to it very well. So do what you're told, listen, but enjoy yourself, and try and like gain as much as you can from it. I obviously used it to my advantage because I could change my entire job choice, and now I'm going to be hopefully joining 4 para, which is exciting. So I'm training hard now as a result of that, to try and get myself ready for all the ridiculous training that will come with that. But yeah, I mean, hopefully that was useful. I don't know how long that was. It felt long, so I'm sorry, but thanks if you stayed through, and I really hope it was useful. If anyone's got any questions, feel free to ask. I'll answer, because I want to help people and make it less of a daunting thing going to your assessment centre. And if there's enough interest, I could do another video, maybe like how to improve your fitness and make sure you smash your fitness test. Because for me, I went from 83 kilos, I'm currently at 66 in the space of like quite a few months, not too long, and I've gone from not being able to run really at all to now like smashing out some good distances, and sub 50 minute 10k. I'm working on getting my 5k down to a 20, and then I did my 2k yesterday ready for the paras, and that was 7 minutes 30 with the minimum requirement 8 minutes 15. So I feel like I've done all right on my fitness. So if people want to know how I did it, it's not going to work for everyone, and I appreciate it's only to me, but if that might be useful, let me know. Hope it's been useful, everyone, and thanks for watching, and best of luck if you got it coming up. Cheers.